The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
Rabbi, I want to end with this amazing Maisa that my Rabbi, Rabbi Shalom, just told me a few days ago. And I'm hoping that this shows you Emunah Pshuta of a Jew. It doesn't matter what your past looked like. Inside of us we have the makeup to reach heights of Emunah Bitachon, sometimes in an instant. Sometimes in an instant, because we have the makeup. We already have the router. All we need to do is flick it on, and we're connected to the Wi-Fi signal immediately. My Rabbi told me that there was a Rav who used to go around the jails, and he used to visit Lo Aleinu Lo Aleichem, the Jews in jail. He used to give them chizuk. There was one particular Jew in jail who was bichlal, secular, not religious at all. But here he is. The rabbi comes around, he begins to speak to him, gives him chizuk, cheers him up, starts giving him purpose and life to want to live again for. And as they get closer, little by little, he starts to learn with this Jewish inmate in jail. And the rabbi has such a hashpah on this guy that little by little he starts to become religious. He starts keeping Shabbat. He starts eating only kosher meals. He starts actually putting on tefillin every day. He's saying Kriyat Shema now every day. And the rabbi is so impressed how this guy became Bal Tshuva, so sincere and so quick. He decides, he comes back one week to the jail, he's going to give him a book on Hilchot Shabbat in his language. Simply written, simple halachot. Let him work with it. And this Jewish inmate, this prisoner in jail, he starts going through the book and he's reading the book. Day and night he's going over the halachot. The next week the rabbi comes back to visit him and he says, Rabbi, you know, in the book that you gave me on the Hilchot Shabbat, there's the master key of how I'm going to get out of jail. You gave me the key to get out of jail. The rabbi says, what do you mean? Your sentence is for 15 years. You're still in your first year. Where are you going? He says, no, don't you understand? The book that you gave me, Hilchot Shabbat, in it was the secret, the key, for me to get out of jail. The rabbi says, what are you talking about? He opens up the Sefer and he says, look, you see the famous Ma'amar Chazal, the famous Gemara about the keeping of Shabbat? Ilmale! If only Klal Yisrael, Ilmale Yisrael, Shamru Shnei Shabbatot. If Klal Yisrael would only keep 2 Shabbatot Karaui properly, Miyad Nigalim. Right away, they would be free. He says, look, you handed me the secret. Thank you. That's why you gave me the book. Now that I learned all the laws of Shabbat, and I went it over 100 times, I'm going to keep 2 Shabbat perfectly here in jail. Miyad Nigalin, I'm out of here. No, 15 years, not even 5 months. I'm out. The rabbi looks at the prisoner and he says, what do I tell this guy? That's not what it means. And if he's going to start getting his hopes up, and he's going to keep 2 Shabbat, and then he's going to be here for another 14 years. What am I going to tell him about Shabbat? What am I going to tell him about Judaism? Well, he's going to start telling me, what? So he says, listen, I just want to tell you that the real understanding of that Ma'amar Chazal is, Yisrael is not talking about one Jew, it's talking about Klal Yisrael. Ilmale Yisrael Shamru Shnei Shabbatot. If the entire Jewish nation would keep 2 Shabbat Karaui properly, Miyad Nigalim, immediately Mashiach would come. So I don't know if you should really bring it home to yourself the way you're doing it. He says, Rabbi, wait 1 second. That might be your girsa. That's not my girsa. I read it, Pashut Pshat. Ilmale Yisrael. One Jew. Shamru et Shabbatot. But Shabbatot. Shamru et Shabbat, Shnei Shabbatot. Kara'ui, miyad nigalim. This is talking about me. Thank you, Rabbi. You're going to see. You're going to see. I know it. I can feel it. Hashem's with me. I'm keeping to Shabbat. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Rabbi said, okay. The week after that, the rabbi got sick. You know, like me and my wife, we got COVID last week. Gewalt. For the second time. After 2 vaccines. Shugay. He got sick. The rabbi got sick the next week. And he didn't come back to the prison for a month. A month later, the rabbi comes back to the prison. And the rabbi is looking for his friend, the Baal Tshuva, the Jewish inmate. And he comes up to the cell. Ve'enenu. It's like the brothers looking for Yosef in the bar. Ve'enenu. Where is he? He goes running to the warden. He says, what happened? Where is he? And he finds out that he's out. He was freed last week. He said, what? What happened? How's that possible? He had a 15-year sentence. How is that possible? I mean, I just saw him 2-3 weeks ago. He says, he's out. He's a free man. What happened? He says, Rabbi, I'll tell you what happened. The Supreme Court judge that sentenced him to the 15-year sentence, he just retired. And you know the way the Supreme Court judges, when they go into retirement, they like to put out either a book or some sort of a legacy that they left behind for the years that they sat on the bench. And they sit back and they review all their big cases. You know, the big sentencing. Because those were the ones that their career was based on. And they start going through each one of them, one at a time. And when he came across this recent one, the guy that he gave 15 years to this Jewish guy, he started looking through the case again and again. And when he reviewed the testimony of the witnesses, he realized that the testimony really was inconclusive. And it wasn't as convincing as he remembered the first time. He said to himself, I'm going to go put out a book. They're going to review my cases that I'm going to highlight as my life medals of decisions, the justice that I stood for. They're going to come across this case and say, wait 1 second. This case is not so glatt. He says, you know what I'm going to do, said the judge? I'm going to turn this around the other way. I'm going to show that I'm a man of justice on the way out off the bench. I'm going to show that I reviewed the case and I'm going to exonerate him. I'm going to acquit him. And that's what the judge did. He put it through the system. And then the warden says he called me and told me this and this man is an innocent man. Set him free now. Ilmale Yisrael Shamru Shnei Shabbatot. Emunah pshuta. Emunah pshuta. Ani im Abba. Abba iti. Ani bayadayim shel Abba. The words of the Rambam. Ani im Eloka. Ve'eloka iti. The Yid HaKadosh, Eye Asher Eye, Paro cannot touch you. Reb Chaim Volozhiner, En Od Milevado, say it again, you're untouchable. Miyad Nigalin, whatever it is you're going through, you'll be taken out immediately. Thank you for listening.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org